for the foreseeable future. Brian's going to run through some players he's keeping an eye on this offseason, starting with Donovan Mitchell. Brian, go.
Yeah, Dan, so the Jazz and Donovan Mitchell are kind of in a bad marriage right now, but they're going to stay together for the sake of the kids. The Jazz are saying that they're not interested in trading him. Donovan Mitchell has not requested a trade, and at the moment seems to be just waiting back and watching. I'm not sure they both don't need therapy, but for the time being, Donovan Mitchell will stay off the market. We'll see if that changes as we get to training camp. Now, there is a forgotten man out there, and that's DeAndre Ayton. And this man, at some point, is going to get paid. And that could be by the end of this week. The Indiana Pacers are seriously considering giving him an offer sheet. They're also interested in negotiating a sign-and-trade with the Phoenix Suns for Ayton, potentially involving Miles Turner to be his replacement at center. But holding everything up is the Suns' negotiations for Kevin Durant, which are probably not going to end soon, and Ayton may have to move on and do his own deal. And as long as we're talking about Kevin Durant, we must bring up his partner, Kyrie Irving. Now, Irving absolutely wants to be a Los Angeles Laker. This we know. The Lakers want Kyrie Irving. This we know. But making that happen, that's a different story. We don't really get a good feel that there's any team seriously in the market for Kyrie right now beyond the Lakers. It doesn't mean they don't like him or value him. They just don't want to pay a potential price that the Nets are asking. So this is one of those things where we just have to wait and see. I doubt Kyrie will be back. I think he'll be on the Lakers, but I don't know when it'll happen.
Right. So this is a little bit similar to what we were talking about last hour with Durant, right? And that everybody knows they got to move him, and therefore the market is cooled. So the Nets' threat will be, oh, we don't have to trade him. We can just keep him. Is that realistic?
No. Because, Dan, so many people were so miserable in that organization at the end of the Kyrie experience last year. They were so tired of all the stuff they were dealing with off the floor and on the floor. While he was awesome at times, it just wasn't worth all the things that accompanied that arrival night to night for a guy that they knew they couldn't count on. So do I believe there's a chance that Kevin Durant could start training camp if this thing gets stretched out? Yes. He has strong relationships in the organization. People know that he puts in the work no matter what. The same cannot be said for Kyrie. They respect the talent, but they don't like all the baggage that comes with it.
All right, so that's one team we know he won't be playing for next year. Zach, how do you see this playing out with Kyrie Irving?
Look, if I'm the Nets, I say, okay, Kyrie, nobody wants you other than the Lakers. Now, I think with time, that could change. I do think there are a couple teams who could dive in if they sense that nothing is happening with the Lakers. But if I'm the Nets fan, I'd say, nobody wants you. Lakers, you have LeBron James toward the very end of his career. You have to win right now. By the way, he's up for an extension in August. He hasn't signed anything yet or indicated that he's going to quite yet. You have LeBron and Anthony Davis. Guess what? That's not enough to win the championship. You know that. We know that. You need Kyrie Irving. We're going to sit back and wait for you to give us both first-round picks, 2027 and 2029. By the way, we don't want to hear anything about protections on those picks. We want them whole hog, unprotected. And Kyrie Irving, if you don't get traded to the Lakers, if they don't give us that stuff, you can sit at home just like you did for almost all of last season. We don't care. Wake us up when there's more options. So if I'm the Nets, I'm absolutely taking a super hard line because the Lakers know they can't win the title as presently constructed. And if it takes all season, it takes all season. I don't really care. That's my stance for now.
So that's Zach's thoughts on how the Nets should approach this. Wendy, how should the Lakers be approaching this situation?
Yeah, we have heard more in the last week about teams that have no interest in Kyrie Irving than teams that do have interest. There was some reports that maybe Philly, maybe Dallas, and those teams like very quickly pushed back on it. No, we don't want him. And so if you're the Lakers, I appreciate what Zach's negotiating point is. I love the whole hog draft pick. I think that should be part of the NBA lexicon out here in the Midwest. We like talking like that. But if you're the Lakers, you're saying, who are we bidding against? Why should we include those things? Who are we bidding against? Why should we unprotect the picks? Do you have another offer that would make us change our stance? And that's the position that the Lakers have taken. And frankly, I don't disagree with it. Now, the thing that could change all this, LeBron can begin contract extension talks in early August. If those talks don't go anywhere, that could be a third party here that changes the discussion. We're going to watch and wait for that.
Dan, how bad is the Lakers roster construction where you see all the things that happened with Kyrie last couple of years and you go, you know what? That's the guy who's going to save us. That's the guy who's going to make this all better. How bad could it be in LA that Kyrie Irving could be viewed as the savior for a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis?
Well, we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about how bad things were in LA this year. Zach, is he the answer for the Lakers?
He's an answer. And look, to Brian's point, what I'm negotiating, what the Nets say, what the Lakers are negotiating against, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, is my willingness to just keep Kyrie Irving all year, even if he doesn't play. That's what you're negotiating against. My team's in smithereens. My team's being blown to dust. Why do I care if Kyrie has to sit out the whole year? I want the whole hog picks. And Windy hit the nail on the head with LeBron's
I'm calling your
extension
bluff.
being a big... That's fine. Call my bluff.
I'm calling your bluff. You don't want him back. You don't want him back. You're not going to play him. Send him on the next flight.
The most dangerous man in the NBA negotiating table is the one with nothing to lose, and I've got nothing to lose right now if I'm Sean Marks. I've already lost everything. My team is about to be blown to smithereens. But look, I like some of what the Lakers did in the offseason. They went younger with Lonnie Walker, Juan Toscano Anderson, Troy Brown Jr., Damian Jones, Thomas Bryant. They went younger. Kyrie would be a great fit, but going younger is cool. The Clippers, the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Wolves, like those are really, really good teams. And LeBron, AD, Russ, and this supporting cast isn't good enough. LeBron, AD, Kyrie in this supporting cast, I've got at least a puncher's chance and probably more. So the Lakers need to have some urgency here. At least if I'm Brooklyn and Sean Marks, you got to approach me with some urgency because you can't win now, but with Kyrie, you got a shot.
Wendy, you agree? Does he make the Lakers a contender?
I'll tell you who agrees. LeBron James agrees. And in the end, that may be the only thing that matters. We'll see.
Yeah, and you mentioned that pressure point that could be coming involving LeBron James contract talks. He could be the guy that puts the pressure on the Lakers, right, to get something like this done?
He almost always is that guy. And he knows Kyrie. He's got the ego to handle, to think he can get Kyrie back on track. But I have news for LeBron. Good luck to you on that front.
We'll obviously keep an eye on this situation. But meanwhile, on planet Earth, PJ Tucker recently signed with the 76ers, posted a thank you to the Heat fans and organization on his way out the door. Jimmy Butler, his now former teammate, didn't take it well. We can't tell you exactly what Butler said, but, something you and Joel Embiid, yeah, I brought him into this. Shrug emoji. Guys,
this is Jimmy's love language, Dan.
Yeah.
This is how Jimmy communicates his love. He really enjoyed playing with PJ Tucker. He really wanted him back. He really likes Joel Embiid. He knows they're going to be good in Philly. But you want to know how you've made it in Jimmy Butler's world? You get an Instagram comment just like that.
Yeah, obviously he's going to miss PJ on the Heat. And now he's got to compete against him, which I'm sure is part of that. Obviously, not real hard feelings, but Twitter hard feelings. We'll keep an eye on.